Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has called for a face-to-face meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin in a renewed effort to end the war between Ukraine and Russia. In an open letter addressed to Putin, Zelensky proposed direct negotiations between the two leaders and called for a full ceasefire during any talks. The Kremlin confirmed it had received the letter and said Putin would be briefed on its contents. Zelensky said it would be wrong to wait for the conflict in Europe to regain the full attention of the United States, noting that Washington is currently focused on developments involving Iran. He argued that peace could only be achieved through direct engagement between Ukraine and Russia. The Ukrainian leader suggested that a meeting could take place in a neutral country, including Switzerland or Turkey. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha described the proposal as a serious effort to end the conflict and said Kyiv was awaiting a meaningful response from Moscow. Speaking in St. Petersburg on Thursday, Putin said he was prepared to reach an agreement with Ukraine, but maintained that compromises would be necessary. He reiterated Russia's long-standing position that Ukraine should withdraw from the partially occupied regions of Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, and Zaporizhzhia, and abandon its efforts to join NATO. Ukraine has consistently rejected territorial concessions, arguing that doing so would encourage further Russian aggression. Putin also questioned whether Zelensky remains a legitimate representative of Ukraine, saying the issue would require legal analysis. The proposal comes as ceasefire negotiations remain stalled. Previous rounds of peace talks held in Geneva, Abu Dhabi, and Istanbul have failed to produce a lasting settlement. The letter was released as Putin attended a major economic forum in St. Petersburg. It also followed recent Ukrainian drone strikes targeting areas near the Russian city. Meanwhile, Russian-backed authorities in occupied Crimea reported 4 deaths following attacks on Simferopol, which they blamed on Ukraine. Kyiv said it had targeted a fuel depot in the area. U.S. President Donald Trump welcomed the possibility of direct talks between the two leaders. Speaking on Thursday, Trump said it would be beneficial if Zelensky and Putin met, and expressed hope that both sides would make compromises to move closer to peace. The situation remains unresolved, with no agreement yet reached on a ceasefire or direct negotiations between the two countries.